Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yes, Canada today. Some people don't seem to like it though. Nah, let's we do have some Canadians here in chat. How is everyone doing? Hey Scotsman, how are you? Any new train DLCs you got? Hey Patrick, thank you for joining. Yes, we're continuing our Canada Ops today, and we've been really enjoying that series that came out of nowhere actually. Started out with a random flight in Canada and I just wanted to stick with it. And I think it's a nice objective, traveling from the west to the east of Canada. Something along those lines. How are you, Tom? Yeah, sorry, Canada. I'll leave you and Scotsman to battle it out. Hey, Frontin. Welcome back, man. Glad to see you here. How are things? Somewhere fun. Well, this is somewhere fun. Yeah, anywhere in Microsoft Flight Simulator is fun. Yes, just give it a chance. Hey, Chris. Early today. Thank you for joining. Glad you guys are here. Train stream when? Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. I haven't been driving trains for quite some time. Goodness, I'm so behind. Anyway, so today guys, we are continuing, this time from Edmonton, going towards Regina, if I remember correctly. So I was trying to study our route for the past couple of weeks. We actually started, so let's go and refresh this. We started things off here in Vancouver, right? So west part of Canada, British Columbia, right? Let me just put that in here. Where the heck is the sign? You have to zoom out. It's hard. Okay, let's do this instead. Let me type that in. There it is. Right, so we started in Vancouver. We made our way northeast towards Prince George, if I remember correctly. I just cannot find it. There it is. X-Ray Sierra. So let's append that. And then from there we went to Edmonton last week. Right? I think so. Yes, and this week, today, we'll be continuing eastbound. So we crossed from British Columbia to Alberta last week apparently. And this week we'll be crossing over from Alberta to, how do you pronounce this, guys? Saskatchewan? Very interesting name. It's not very familiar with me. I don't think I hear it a lot. And we'll be going to Regina, which is apparently the capital here in Saskatchewan. I hope I'm pronouncing that remotely correctly. But that's how the flight plan will look right now. 1 second. Oh, something is missing. Edmonton. There we go. So that's the leg that we'll be doing today. A bit longer than usual apparently. But we can manage it. We can manage it. No worries, Tom. Hey, Larger. Thanks for joining, man. Thank you for that recommendation, by the way. Yes, that's a very good segue. Thank you for that question. That's like it was planted. No worries at all, Tom. Yes, hope you can relax a bit here in the stream. That's the goal anyway. So, I am not using AIG. I tried using AIG. I downloaded it. Took me half a day. I basically left it running while I was working, downloading airlines and everything. I tried it. It looked pretty promising, but it's crashing for me at the moment. I'm guessing there were some missing models before. It's not the easiest thing to install. And if the site, because how it works in the AIG is you will download each airline separately, each model of the plane, each livery separately. There's an installer, so if you're lucky, you just do one click and it will load the entire airline to the download. The problem is sometimes the server where you're downloading the models from, they are not available. So what happens is the screen just gets stuck at 0%, something like that. And I'm not sure what to do in that case. And I think I had that instance, so I have some missing models because of that server outage. I'm not sure if it's been fixed since, but I tried it and it was causing a crash of the AI controller. So I was losing my traffic middle of the flight. And so I went back for now to simple traffic, which is simple, which is working, which is great. What I wanted to show though is the new app that Larger helped me find. It showed to me, which is compatible with both AIG and simple traffic. And I so enjoy this because this is what's been missing. So you see all these planes, right? The United, WestJet, Air Canada, but we don't have really context about what they are, what flight they're flying, when they're flying, and what route they're going to make. We apparently have this AI companion app that Koala is the author of. That is available in the mods list. And this is how it looks. So you can actually see all the flights in the vicinity, see their airline, see their status, and get more context where they're going, what time they're leaving, why are they still at the gate, and stuff like that. Yeah, try it another time. Yes, we're flying the CRJ 900. It's a regional jet, not quite the big ones, but it is pretty big considering it's a regional jet. Hey Geek Squad, how's it going? Saskatchewan is good, thank you. Yeah, the Verify is trying to fix the stuff, but the server outage is hampering things. So thankfully there is simple traffic. And the simple traffic actually works easily with VATSIM as well. I tried it a bit and it was looking great. So these are the flights that we have here in the vicinity. We can see we have 26 on the ground, we have 3 in the air. And this is with 20% traffic. I guess I can increase this, but I'm not sure if I want to at the moment because as it is, the airport is filled with planes already. This is that 20%. So if we go to the traffic options, this is AI aircraft traffic density at 20. If I put that 100, that maybe goes times 5. I'm not sure. So we'll probably have more planes in the air. But this is super cool because you can actually see these guys. There was one guy who came from this airport. Where is he? Oh, I think he's gone now. I think he's out of range. Yeah, but you'll see there's like a WestJet flight 81. WestJet 81 from Edmonton. He pushed back, he taxied, he took off from runway 12. I think it's this guy. No. Oh, look at that. Something just changed. Someone is entering the pattern. Oh, this guy is landing at runway 12. Super cool. So he came from Vancouver. He's landing here in Edmonton. He's now in the pattern. And where is he exactly? We can look outside, or there's actually the live map option as well. You can actually go plane spotting here like this. So there's the live map option showing all the AI traffic. And this is free, guys. So we can see where that guy is. What's his name? The flight number 26. ACA 26, I guess, is what the IKO code is. One sec, guys. There, that's the guy. That's the guy. Okay, getting back to chat. Started farm simming. How's it going? Started enjoying it. Nice. I have bought it as well. I've tried it a bit. It's fun, but I haven't had time to farm yet. Glad to hear that. Yeah, Jack has been farming quite a bit and I wanted to join him. He actually has a server. Did you uninstall Simple Traffic? Yes, I had to uninstall Simple Traffic when I was using AIG. Monkey, thanks for joining, by the way. Because otherwise, even if I had AIG, it was still loading Simple Traffic planes. So I had to uninstall it. Look at that. Now the guy is landing. Runway 12. So how will he land? Let's try and spot him from the sim. Look at that, he's turning now. So if we're here, should be behind, I guess, somewhere here. Can we see him? Because runway 12 is there on that side. A free plane spotting map mod. Yeah, the AI companion is free. I'm just not sure if it works with like just the default AI, because I had to set up AIG, which takes literally like, let's say, a day to download the stuff. Whoa. Yeah, that's one of the bugs with Sim Update 7, these sudden weather transitions. Dang it. So we saw that in action. That's one of my pet peeves in X-Plane. That's why I so enjoyed Microsoft Flight Sim. And now that behavior followed here. That might be it. Air Canada. I see. You guys see it? There are blinking lights there, strobes and beacons. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's the guy. That is Air Canada 26. Making its way towards runway 12. Let's see how he can get there. Yeah, Farm Sim Online has been super buggy. I think they've gotten the servers up now. Hopefully it sticks. But yes, it was buggy because of too many players. The servers couldn't handle it. New phone on Saturday. Sorry you read that late, Geek Squad. Waiting for over a month. Congrats, man. How are you liking it? Bet you're super excited using it. Hey, Alex. Thanks for joining and thanks for linking Jack's stream there. Yes, Jack is streaming. I think he was streaming a while ago. I dropped in for a bit, but I couldn't say hi because I was setting this up. There it is. Air Canada. Now, it doesn't seem like a very nice pattern. Is he actually landing that way? Goodness, look at how much runway he took. There he is. He landed in the middle, near the end of the runway. Now, this is simple traffic, so this has default AI logic. Sorry, that was a bit fast. What runway is this? This is runway 30. Okay. Okay, so indeed, he landed properly because he landed, well, properly is I guess an overstatement, but runway 12 is over in there, so he did land the right way here. Right? He landed like you. Farm Sim servers behaved well tonight. Ah, that's great to hear. Did you manage to join Jack already, Alex? I wanted to join him on the server. Haven't had time to set my Farm Sim up yet. With the companion app, yes, that's a great question, Bunky. I think you need to. Because, let me show you. You were playing Farm Sim tonight. Oh, I see. When I dropped in, I think it was Junior there. Junior had to go. Was it Junior? I'm guessing it was. But I didn't hear you in there yet. Okay, so you can see this guy is taxi in now. So, Bunky, your question? I think you do. Because you can see here in the options. You have the AIG OCI folder. That's the AIG installation, right? You have to point that there. And if this is blank, it will actually not let you. It will say it cannot find AIG. So I think you have to set it up. And then in addition, if you want simple traffic to work, you have to link these folders. So wherever the Aerosoft directory is installed, the game directory community, so that it links all the aircrafts there. And then the BGA files and the FFAI_TR. Yeah, you can take a screenshot of this just so you have a reference on how to install it. Because the link in the mods list points you to this AI companion app, and there are instructions there, but it's not very descriptive, so you might have to play with it a bit. So far, this seems to be working for me, but I've only been trying this out for a few minutes. Almost got fired. Awesome. So how's Farm Sim 22 treating you, Alex? Hopefully no bugs. Stable like FS19. Alright, so the guy is taxiing in. That looks pretty good actually. That looks amazing. You can see them in the map here. I like it. It's an amazing amazing app. Thank you, Larger. And if you don't mind, I'm going to call you Larger. Just rolls off the tongue easier. There are a few bugs, but nothing absolutely game-breaking. That's great to hear. I hope to join in soon. I get hampered because I don't have my wheel and I want to play with the wheel, but maybe I should set it up with a controller instead, just so I can join in anytime. Does the snow on runways affect the planes? I don't think so, Tom. That's a good question. I don't think so, though. I don't think it affects physics just yet. It might be purely visual. Okay, awesome, Larger. Yeah, I think even Fabio calls you that, right? So I don't have to adjust because I watch his streams. I watch his VODs to catch up. Okay, anyway, so let's go and plan this thing. Let me also open Pilot to ATC in the background so it's loading while we're talking here. I do want to set up SimBrief. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I managed to fly last weekend. If you saw in the Discord, if you're not there, you can easily join. !Discord gets you there. I managed to fly from Vancouver to San Francisco and then back from San Francisco to Vancouver. So 2 flights. The second flight though was super buggy. Not sure if I can show you here. Have you ever had this issue? I heard from San Semiano that he did have this issue. Where he actually had, you don't have the landscape at all. Yeah, enjoying the CRJ, Archer. It's amazing. It's not perfect, right? If you tweak with the FMS too much, it gets wonky. But overall, it works. If it's if you don't touch the FMS too much, if you just stick with the original plan. But yeah, I had a lot of bugs here in this flight. You can see, right? It feels like we're in the ocean here, but this is actually Vancouver. So the airport is, I think, right here where my mouse is. But nothing is loading. Literally nothing is loading. Just a flat thing. So much so that when I was landing, when I was landing here, this is how it looks. So if you look at if I zoom in, we were at, let me see here. If you look at the altitude, we were at 430 feet above ground. You can actually see a bit of the textures in there, right? Like just generic land. And you can see the gate starting to load, the AI planes. So that's Vancouver, but nothing was loading, although the weather was great. And then I landed. Thankfully, instrument landing works, ILS. So I looked at the instruments, and then I just used the radio altimeter calls, 50, 40, 30, 20, and then I landed. I landed even without the runway in sight, with nothing in sight actually. This is a very different visibility issue. And then, yes, I was on the ground and still it was like that. So first time it happened to me. It might be a Sim Update 7 thing, I'm not sure. First time it happened to me. I hope it doesn't happen again. So yeah, we'll see. One second, huh? Hey, Goga man. Sorry for the late reply. Right, Bunky. Yes, you'll need AIG in there. AI is local on the machine, Goga man. Yes, this is... I don't think any other people can see it. Or... yeah, they might see different versions of the AI. That's a good point. So it's not synchronized at the moment. That's the biggest weakness of it. Alright, so let's go and create our flight plan. So it's from Edmonton, Charlie Yankee Echo Golf to Charlie Yankee Quebec Romeo to Regina. And let's pick the CRJ9. You guys excited for the 737? Oh my goodness, I think that's the most looked forward to plane. What plane are you guys looking forward to aside from the 737? I read that the Kodiak, I think, will be released December 17th. I might try that out. Would it be safe to say it's similar to the Caravan? Single engine turboprop that has a similar like size? I'm not sure what the differences are, but I would want to fly a more much more detailed turboprop. So that's something I'm looking forward to. 250, 290, 74 climb profile. We've been discussing this the past couple of weeks. If you guys want a refresher, just let me know and I can bring that up again, okay? So this is the flight. Omrod, Fuji, Antos, and then Antos 6 arrival. Looks pretty straightforward to me, right? And I don't see any hills actually. I think there is a vertical plan here later and after we do this. 1 second. So let's just make that auto 1 hour 30 minutes. Looks good. Runway 20 is where we're asked to depart actually. Is that right? No. Now that's weird. Because if you look at the METR for Edmonton, it's 140 at 9 knots. 140 at 9 knots is runway 12, isn't it? 0212. Let's have a look. We load the Navigraph here. It's a bit weird. Kodiak is a great detailed plane. Airbus A380. I'm not sure if there's any developers that are working on it. 1 second. I want to unload the flight. Navigraph is not loading properly. Release date of the Kodiak 30 USD. The wheeled version later floats standalone for 15 USD. Nice. Yeah, I'll probably get that. Okay, here we go. So the airport chart for this guy, for Edmonton, we're being asked to depart from runway 20, maybe just because it's longer, right? It does have a longer runway length. So maybe SimBrief logic is to use the longest runway and then based on the winds, get the closest, the best possible runway for it. Maybe that's the logic, but it just in terms of the wind, and they're mostly the same anyway, I think runway 12 makes a lot of sense, like what the traffic is doing. So let's change that, runway 12. Yeah, pick new SID stars. We're not using any SIDs anyway, so that's the same. That looks good. Arrival is runway 13. Is that right? Let's just double check. 330 at 5. Okay, fine. Let's trust it for now. And let's see if it will make sense later. Second, let me try and make this smaller. Something like that. Yeah, that works for me. Okay. Planned optimum flight level, payload limited by max landing weight. Okay, that's fine. Let's go and look at the OFP. There is a vertical flight plan in here, I think, or whatever you call it. Vertical profile. This guy, yeah, if you look here, that's our vertical profile, and these are the terrain. This is the terrain, so it's actually pretty flat all throughout. And if you look at that in little nav map, it's actually quite interesting. You see that. Because starting from Edmonton, yeah, I think this is a nice view of it. You see the dark green areas, those are the mountainous ones from what I can gather. And the light green ones is mostly plain. So you can see our flight plan and originally from Vancouver. You can see all the mountains here in the vicinity, right? This area. And even from Prince George to Edmonton, mountains all over. But from Edmonton to Regina, looks like it's mostly plain. So let's see what we'll find below, if you'll even have visibility depending on the clouds, right? We also have winds all throughout. I'm not sure I can quite read all of that yet. Not very familiar with it. Anyway, okay, let me check if Pilot to ATC is working. So first thing I do, let me show you. Pilot to ATC is this app, right? I have FSU IPC loaded in the background. And then I have Pilot to ATC. I have Amazon Poly Voices. This is a bit hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So when I load Pilot to ATC, I load this screen first before I do anything. Go to voices and then test. Nothing, right? Nothing. So that means it's not going to work. So I have to do is close the app and then open it again. And then try a second time, a third time until it works. I have no explanation for it, but everyone I see who's using Amazon Poly is having the same problem. I think it's just an Amazon Poly limitation. Okay, let's see. Let's go and load up the flight plan in here. Load up the charts, spin them out. And how cold is it at the moment? Let's have a look. It was pretty cold last week in Edmonton, you guys remember? -15 on the ground. We were actually icing while we were on the ground stationary. It's the first time I've seen that. Hopefully today it's a bit warmer. Okay, this is also something I learned from Fabio. I always wondered about that. The first part of the number here, usually that's 10, right? 10-9. The -9 is usually the airport chart. But I wasn't sure why it was sometimes 10, 20, 30, 40. And apparently that's because of the number of airports in the area. I'm not sure what area that is, if it's a city or something. But that means this is like the second airport in the area, in whatever area that is. So there is a 10-9, a different airport has that. So this is 20-9 for Edmonton. Okay, so this is the chart for the airport. We have that. Good. Antos 6 is going to be our arrival. Let's have a quick look, just a peek at it. Antos. Okay, let's spin that too. So all of them are here below for easy access. That's how I like to do it in Navigraph. And then the runway would be 13. There is an ILS at runway 13. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at the charts here. Spin the airport. Look at this one. For Regina, it's 10-9, right? But I'm guessing if you look at another airport, Moose Jaw, for example, would that be a good example? Yeah, this one is 20-9. It's the second airport in the area. Maybe something like that. Pretty cool. Okay. Approach ILS runway 13. Let's see. There are a couple of initial approach fixes. You can see APNEN, IAF there, APNEN or NADUP. We can start from there. Or we can also get vectors. There's also IAF at Ajax here. A bit more old school NDB approach. So from Ajax, you kind of do a course reversal here, proceed your turn to face the runway. But I think what we'll do is we'll probably get vectors from ATC, from pilot to ATC, and we will be vectored towards CHEPS, the intermediate fix. So I think what I will choose is just a final here. ILS runway 13 final. That means just the intermediate fix. So we'll be vectored in there. Okay, and let me go and put that in the pin. There you go. That should be okay. Right, so I have this. Let's load, put that on the left side. Let's see if pilot to ATC works now. Second time's the charm.
This is Amazon Poly, US English, Matthew, Standard. I will be your ATIS voice for the flight.
Okay, so far so good. It's not foolproof. Sometimes it still has an error afterwards, but most of the time it works. Once you test it like that, it kind of works from there. Ish. Not 100%, but maybe 90% of the time. Okay, so paste the route. You just remove the runways. Alright. Looking good. What's our cruising altitude here? Flight level 330. Pretty low actually today. For a very long flight, we are actually flying very low. 330, okay. At 418 knots, flying a bit slower as well. So 418 will be our cruise ground speed, and cruising at flight level 330. Okay. Runway 12 is what we'll be choosing. No departure. Let's load it. It's not working. Force the departure runway. Does that work? Okay, there we go. And then the star would be runway 13, Antos. With the Antos transition, yes. That goes all the way to Cheps. Oh, Cheps, okay. 1 second. So the end of the arrival is at Cheps, is that right? Let's have a look. So Antos, and then for runway 13, and let me see. Is this the right chart? No, this is runway 26 and 31. This might be a bug. 1 second. Am I reading this right? Aircraft planning the RNAV, runway 26, cross Omdot. Okay. Maybe it's just, maybe there is something. Because there's runway 08 here, runway 26. Where does it say runway 13? Do you guys see it? There should be something like that. This one is runway 26. Spec vectors there. Oh my goodness, it's a bit confusing, isn't it? Maybe it's this one? Not the most clear chart to me. But okay, it does seem like it. You go from Antos to Cheps, above 4,000. And then you can see that's actually leading directly to the ILS here. You can see that icon for the localizer, right? And that's the airport itself. So it might be that one already. Okay, so it's Cheps. And actually, if you look at the airport here, the ILS approach, Cheps is the intermediate fix. So the arrival actually leads us towards Cheps already. Okay, so in pilot to ATC, we can pick the Antos arrival, right? Going to Cheps. And let's pick the approach for runway 13. ILS, runway 13. Is there a Cheps? No. Vectors to Cheps, okay. But actually we shouldn't need it. Because the arrival and approach are directly linked. But okay. So that looks good. Let's now connect. Just think of a number here. Jazz 8364. I don't know. Good. Okay, that looks good. Let's validate. Let's file. Nice. Looking pretty good. Let's put that here. Oh, my bad. It's a very short flight plan, huh? Nice. Okay. Navigraph to the left. This guy to the left as well. And I need my checklist. For those who are not familiar, we have this checklist. It's available in the mods list as well. Just let me know if you can't find it. It should be under the CRJ 700 item in the mods list. There's a link in the comments column. Okay, but this is what I use, and this is not like fully maybe real life, right? But it's close enough, and it will definitely get you to where you need to go. Thanks, Alex. Let's go ahead and turn off the music here so we can get immersed in the full aircraft sounds. Get the GPU in. Open all the doors. And let's start up the plane. Turn on the battery. Turn on the nav. Turn on hydraulics 3A. Get some lighting. Let's turn on the GPU as well. And we can start hearing. Are those avionics fans spooling? I hear some fans. Probably, huh? Start aligning the IRS. Inertial reference system. Looks good. And then we can start. Let's see if this works. We can start calling the luggage and the catering. Yeah, it works. I'm using this one, pushback helper, just on my other monitor here. I also hear lots of planes outside. Let's have a quick peek at yeah, which one is that? That's pretty noisy. Yeah, because I'm looking at AI companion, I don't really see anybody taxiing or en route. Interesting. Okay, anyway, I do like the hum. So let's keep it there. Acknowledge that. So for our friends in the US, how was your Thanksgiving? For our friends everywhere, how was your Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all the other sales stuff? You guys buy anything? I managed to buy a toaster. I'm so happy with it. I haven't had bread in so long. And crispy bread at that. Oh my goodness, it's so good. No wonder they have a saying for that invention about sliced bread. Toast simulator, exactly. It sounds so basic, right? But oh my goodness. And we're coming up, me and Miss Clumsy are coming up with so many different bread recipes. So good. Pretty healthy too, considering. Alright, let's see. Next up, we're programming the FMS. So let's do a pause in it here. We are starting at Charlie, Yankee, Echo Golf, Edmonton. Getting the GPS coordinates here. Pasting it for the IRS starting point. And then we are pasting that here again. Edmonton to Charlie Yankee. I always forget Quebec Romeo. Quebec Romeo is Regina. Okay, there we go. Anyone know anything about Saskatchewan? Why do I not hear a lot about that place? What is it known for? Execute. Departure would be runway 12. We are not following any SIDS. So that's going to be that point. And then from here, let me pull in the route. I just follow this route from SimBrief. Omrod, Fudgy, Antos. And it's direct, all direct, so I don't have to enter any runways. So I'll just enter here. And I do like to plug this in manually, even if it takes longer. It just gives me a bit more, I can recognize the nav aids. For example, if you're working with ATC and they tell you, Jazz 8364 direct Omrod, turn left direct Omrod. So it kind of rings a bell. So if I type it manually, so the recall for the flight plan is a bit easier. And I just like the feel of plugging this in manually. It feels more real. Antos. Good. Didn't buy anything on Black Friday. The PC5 was not discounted. What is the PC5? I'm familiar with PC6 but not PC5. Quebec. Yeah. Oh, you won a Blair Yacht. Nice. Yeah, I saw that. Goodness, massive Thanksgiving giveaway from Fabio. It's a great idea, actually. I might try something similar for Christmas, but for sure on a much smaller scale, right? But I might try reaching out to developers to see if they can have keys for giveaway. Scotsman might get awakened with that. Oh, you mean the Milvis one? I see. Oh, they didn't have a sale. Yeah, I highly recommend the Milvis PC6. I actually wanted to fly there. I fly that today if we had time, but we always never have time after these flights. Kind of take long. Okay, Antos. That's it. Go to arrival, ILS-13, vectors, and then we will be joining the Antos 6 arrival. Good. Let's go to the legs page, have a look. Omrod, Fudgy, Antos, and then there's an Antos there. I'm just going to paste them together. There you go. Remove the discontinuity and then the cheps here. Yeah, cheps and then vectors actually. Yeah, I guess that's okay. Let me just delete the discontinuity because sometimes the FMS has a hard time calculating the top of descent if you don't have if you have a discontinuity in there. Okay, that looks good. Flight level 330. Plug it there. And now we can put in the EFB. Now, what are the performance numbers we have? So for this one, SimBrief has the stuff for us. I'm just copying the zero fuel weight in here and the fuel here. The fuel is actually, the entire trip is actually 3,000 pounds. Maybe I should have switched to kilos, because we're in Canada. But anyway, minor details. It needs continuous 15 minutes, so that's 1,000 pounds. And then we need fuel to get to our alternate if we need to. That's 2,700 pounds. And then a final reserve, which I'm not sure if it's 30 minutes of flight of 1,700. Maybe a bit less, right? Because this is 15 minutes is 1,000. So this should be 2,000 if it's 30 minutes. I'm not sure what that calculation is about. Minimum takeoff fuel, 8729. We have taxi 500, so 9229. Okay. So 9229 would be a safe enough number for me. So I'm just plugging this in. Zero fuel weight would be 69645. Enter. And fuel would be 9229 pounds. Enter. Okay. So with that, I set the payload in the sim. Do that one more time, couple more times until the CG gets properly calculated. Copy that performance init data to the FMS which we were programming. And also don't forget to set the V speeds here so that the speeds there, instead of just the default, would be set. So we have proper V speeds when we are taking off. Later. Okay, so you can see here the weights have been put in as well. Nice. Looking good. The winds, I'm not going to plug anything there. I'm not sure if it's implemented anyway. VNAV profile, 18,000 feet is the transition altitude. Target speed 290 and 0.74, but 250 below 10,000. Makes a lot of sense.
Bro.
0.74 on the cruise, flight level 330. Hey, Mechanical, how are things? How are you doing? Did you win anything in Fabio's stream? Were you there? I saw Espen won something. Larger won something. My goodness, I should have joined that, huh? Massive giveaway. Perfect for Thanksgiving. Perf. It's good. How's it going in your end, man? Pretty late there, huh? What time is it? Is it almost 1 a.m.? Something like that. Okay, radio. Let's put that in the legs page. We consult our checklist in here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, looking good, looking good. Alright, so here let's go back to the overhead. Now we can actually turn on to auto. The hydraulic pumps. We'll need to set the cabin pressure. So let's put that up because I'm looking at the landing elevation here. And what I'm doing is I will be looking at the Edmonton airport. Airport elevation is 2,370. Let's put that at 2,380 maybe. This is just so for if we have to go back and land here, we have the proper landing elevation for the cabin pressure to adjust on its own. Because the cabin pressure is automated, but it needs to know where you're going so it can adjust that properly. It knows when to let the cabin pressure climb or cabin altitude climb or not, or to go down as needed. 2380 looks good. Okay, and then I believe we put windshield heat to low and passenger signs, no smoking, seatbelt, and arm the emergency lights. Looks good. I'm not looking at the checklist, but I'm hoping I remember it a bit. And then we just turn on the trims. The yaw damper, we can engage now because the IRS is aligned, indicated by the PFD showing up there. That looks good. The corresponding warning should also disappear. 2-hour lesson with Fabio. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. When are you planning to take it? Oh my goodness. 1-on-1 with a great one. I would rather just go for a flight and have him quiz me. Oh man. Yes, let us know when you decide. I wonder if that is going to be public? Maybe not, huh? Just tell us the stories when you're done. Cool, okay. I believe he also gave out copies of the DC-6, right? I think. Goodness. And the 737, I think he gave a copy away for the upcoming 737. Is that the grand prize? Or is the grand prize at 2 hours? It's hard to decide. 2 hours might be actually worth more, huh? Alright, let's go ahead and close the doors. Everything should have gotten loaded by now.
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
Start the APU.
On behalf of the captain and crew, welcome aboard this flight. We hope you enjoy flying with us. Before takeoff, we would
Let's
like
confirm
to encourage
below.
all passengers to
Yeah,
watch our
APU
cabin
is
crew
starting.
display the safety features of the aircraft.
See the RPM rising, temperatures rising. And let's leave that running for a bit. In the meantime, let me have a look at the chart here. I'm looking at ATIS. ATIS is 128.0. And then clearance is 124.1. Okay, let's plug those in. 124.1 would be for clearance. Let's put that in standby. And then the ATIS, let's go and listen to it now. But 1 second, we have the APU ready. Nice. Temperature today is 2 degrees. Pretty hot actually with Edmonton standards. We have the APU available. Let's go and verify that because why not? It's more fun. So we go for, let me see. We go for electricity. Yes, indeed. The APU generator is on and providing the AC power in there. Nice. That's also easily seen over here. Right? The APU says avail. So now we can turn on the air conditioning and the circulating fan. And now we can also get rid of the GPU. Let's also remove the chunks. And let's call the tug in. We're not pushing back quite yet, but they can start attaching now. So that takes a bit of time. Hope not. Sceneries for SU7, nice. Oh man, is that for your sceneries? Goodness.
A few moments later.
A few moments later, exactly. For aviation nerds, this is actually the fun part. Believe it or not. Because when you're in the air, the autopilot's taking care of everything. Alright, so we have the APU now. Let's listen to the weather. I did plug in the ATIS frequency here. Let's go. And let me prepare my notepad so I can jot stuff down.
Edmonton International Information, Quebec. Winds are
Quebec.
125 at 9 knots. Visibility unrestricted. 1-2,000 few clouds. 1-5,000 broken. Temperature
Few
3.
clouds and broken.
Dew point -2. Current altimeter is 2950. Arriving
Wow.
and departing
Super low
runway
pressure.
20.
Ooh, 0.
Edmonton International Information.
I did
Quebec.
request for runway
Winds are
12 though.
125 at 9
So
knots.
that might be a special
Visibility
case.
unrestricted.
Okay, let's go and tune into clearance. We do have the weather. Now let's go and request for clearance in here. Clearance.
Jazz 8364 ready to copy IFR clearance.
Jazz 8364 is cleared to Charlie Yankee Quebec Romeo is filed. Expect departure runway 12. Climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 133.65. Squawk 6163.
Nice.
Jazz 8364 is cleared to Charlie Yankee Quebec Romeo is filed. Climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 133.65. Squawk 6163.
Refreshing your brain.
Jazz
I know.
8364 read back correct. Altimeter 2950 contact
I have
ground
the same
on
feeling.
121.7 when ready for pushback. Have a good one.
1.7.
Altimeter 2950 ground on 121.7 Jazz 8364.
Yeah, the first time I jumped in the CRJ again, I was like, how did this thing go again? But I have the checklist, right? At least so I can go literally line by line. It's like, oh yes, right. And it refreshed me. So it's a lot easier with that checklist in there because the memory is hard to rely on. Okay, looks good. Before we call in ground, let's plug in everything. So first and foremost, let's put in the weather, the local altimeter, the QNH here, 2950. Very low pressure, huh? But thankfully, still good weather. I initially thought it would be like 1 to 1 when it's low pressure, it's bad weather, but apparently not. Okay, and that seems to go well. It says our altimeter is saying we are at 2,350, and yes, the airport elevation is 2,373, so that checks perfect. So let's put that in here. So 2950 is actually accurate. Very nice. So that's the live weather syncing with Pilot to ATC live weather, because they are getting technically from different data sources, so sometimes they are not matching. Okay, 2950, we've been told to expect runway 12, which has a heading of 120. So let's put in 120 in the heading bug here. Good. And then we've been told to expect, we've been cleared to climb up to 6,000 feet and expect higher clearances 2 minutes after. So let's put in 6,000 in the altitude selector. We've been told that the departure frequency is 133.65. So let's put that in standby so we can easily switch later on once we are on the air and it gets pretty busy, and ATC is best at timing this perfectly, that the busiest time after you take off when you're doing all the stuff and flying, they will tell you to switch over. So this one helps at least to have that on standby. And the ATC is our squawk is 6163. Put that in ATC 1, and just for Pilot to ATC, I like to kind of shake this a bit, just +-1, so that it updates there on the Pilot to ATC app here, because otherwise it doesn't update if you only update the FMS for some reason. I don't know why. Something along those lines. Good. Okay, I think that's good. Then let's consult the checklist, make sure I didn't miss anything. We have the ATC, we have the Barrow, we have ATC clearance, we have runway heading, initial altitude, departure frequency, squawk, beacons. Yes. Let's turn on the beacons to warn anyone who's outside to go away. Make space clear, because Clumsy is making an appearance. Trying to see if there are other planes moving. Looks like still good. Let's consult our AI companion in here. Yeah, everyone is sleeping. Still loading. I think the next departure will be at 10:42. Yeah, I'm looking at this guy. So you can see, based on the planes here in Edmonton, we have a 10:42 departure. And it's currently 10:02 local time, based on the sim. So it will not see anything moving in the next couple of minutes. All right, that looks good. So now we can go and request pushback here. Pushback and engine start.
Jazz 8364 ready for pushback and engine start.
Turn on the fuel pumps.
Jazz 8364 pushback and engine start approved.
Nice. Let's read that back. Let's read that back.
Pushback and Engine start approved. Jazz 83.
Okay, let's release the parking brake. Let's start the pushback, and we'll be facing to the left if I remember correctly. Yes. So we'll be pushing back to our right here. But let's push back straight first and let us start engine number 2. And hear the air conditioning actually go away. Air Canada. We belong. That is so cool, seeing actual liveries. Okay, so I'm looking at the N2 here. Once it gets close to 20%, we can introduce fuel to engine 2 by moving the throttles that way. Okay, let's go and push back to the right a bit. It's so cool seeing actual liveries. Yeah, I highly recommend Simple Traffic for everyone. This just is very fuss-free. AIG is super detailed, takes so much time. But yes, if you're a fan of the actual models, if you really want to see the actual models and not just like either a wide body, narrow body, want to see all the variants and you're willing to work for it, AIG is a great app for it.
Please pay attention as we display the safety features and procedures of the aircraft in case of an emergency.
There's the taxiway, I think. I can hardly see it.
Please remain in your seats with your seatbelts fastened.
I think we're okay with that, right? Start engine 2. Engine 1 rather. Parking brake is set. Remove the tug. And continue monitoring N2. 20%. Good.
We would also like to remind you that you should turn off all electronic devices.
Man, the clouds don't look friendly today, huh? That looks pretty low, actually. What is the meter saying here? Edmonton. It did say few at 180 and then broken at 220, so I guess that's the broken part. But 220, that should be 22,000 above ground. Interesting. We'll see if that holds here. I have a feeling it doesn't, but okay, fine. Alright, we have both engines good. Let's go and verify that again. If you look at the electrical, yes. Both engines, both generators are working and providing power to their corresponding buses. Good. That means we can go ahead and turn off the APU. And let's also go and turn on the probe heats. That's the wrong key. Probe heats, and do we need anti-ice? We just might. We just might. We'll see. Okay, good. What else am I missing? I'm missing a lot for sure. Arm the nose wheel steering so we can taxi properly. Let's see. Let's turn on taxi lights to signal that the plane is about to move forward. Let's go and set our flaps for takeoff. I don't want to multitask later as we're taxiing, so I make sure that everything is in place already before we get moving. Just safer that way. Flaps to 8. That looks good. We also set the trim excuse me, to the takeoff position. Based on the calculations, takeoff trim should be 6.8. So what we do is do the 6.8. You can see the stab trim in there. 6.8. Come on, 6.8 for takeoff. Trims are all centered. That looks good. But let's also go ahead and check the flight controls here. There it is. And I'm moving the yoke so the elevators are moving. Ailerons are okay. Rudders look good. Yes, okay. Pretty good. Nice. Let's go back to stat. Alright. And I think we're good. We'll arm the reversers later, but for now, I think we're good there. Okay, let's go and request taxi.
Jazz 8364 ready to taxi.
Should be pretty straightforward to runway 12.
8364 taxi to runway 12 via taxiways Alpha Charlie, Alpha, Bravo, hold short runway 12.
Okay, gotcha. So it's a bit...
Taxi to runway 12 via taxiways Alpha Charlie Alpha Bravo, hold short runway 12 Jazz 8364.
We've been told to turn left on Alpha Charlie, turn right to Alpha, this entire strip here, and then turn left of Bravo, which is this one. Turn left to runway 12. Okay, looks good. I hope I can see the signs outside, but with all the snow, I doubt it. Okay, let's go and release the parking brake and get going. There we are. Turning left here at Alpha Charlie. Let's go and move to manual cross flow. For you guys who are watching Fabio, he explains this in a lot more detail, each and every button here in the CRJ. Has he discussed yet why you need the manual cross flow there? That's because that's part of the checklist, but I didn't really understand why that's needed. I remember he was asking the chat at one time why, like he was about to answer it, but I think that it was missed in the conversation somehow. So hope he brought that back up. Okay, and then let's turn on the reversers. Make sure we don't forget it later. Used the in-game ATC the other day for the first time in a year. Yes, it is so much better, that's true. Although, it's a bit of a love and hate for me at the moment because it's better, but still nowhere near nice, I would say. But that's true. Comparing with how it was in the initial release, definitely tons better. I actually tried that too after Sim Update 6, I think. And it was not nice. So I went back to Pilot to ATC. It was so much more refreshing and I haven't looked back since. Let's turn on the weather radar. I always forget this because it doesn't really work in this plane. It's just decoration at the moment. But you have to turn the weather radar on right before you enter the runway, and then turn it off as you get off the runway because I think it has some radiation, so you don't want that on when you're taxiing into the gate. Otherwise, the ground crew might get affected. It's just so both engines feed from both tanks. Ah, I see. This keeps the fuel on each side on their own. No cross feeding. I guess that helps with maybe with the stability. So just another safety precaution, right? So we're on Alpha right now. We'll be turning left at Bravo. I don't really see any taxiway signs, so I'm just referring to the chart here on my other screen. There's Bravo, the next left. And this is one of my clues. When I have 3-3 in there, 3 green, 3 white, that's a good sign that I have everything set.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Jazz 8364, contact tower on 118.3. Enjoy your morning.
I'm also turning anti-ice to be on the safe side.
Tower on 118.3 Jazz 8364.
Here's Bravo. Oh, I like the textures there. That snow. Very nice, huh? Like just a little bit of snow, but you can still see the markings. Actually, very good. 118.3. Let's go before it scolds us. 1183. And then let's say that we are ready for takeoff.
Tower Jazz 8364 ready for departure runway 12.
Jazz 8364, winds are 125 at 9 knots, cleared for takeoff. Runway 12 squawk 6163, maintain runway heading until above 3,300 feet, then turn heading 152 to intercept course.
Cleared for takeoff runway 12 squawking 6163, maintain runway heading until above 3,300 feet, then to 152 Jazz 8364.
152, okay. Turn right to 152. Okay, so it's a bit of a right turn afterwards. Let's turn on our strobes, turn on our landing lights. I think we're good. Have a look at the right there. Looks good. Clear on the right, clear on the left. Let's go and enter the runway. This is actually a pretty straightforward departure, because the next waypoint is almost directly ahead of us, so no drastic turns after takeoff. Okay, you can see the windsock there aligns pretty well with what was said. Winds are almost coming from directly in front of us. Runway 12, I see it on the ground. The heading is indeed 120, looks good. Alright, off we go. Oh, don't forget, push the takeoff mode so that we get some guidance on the flight director on the pitching. And you guys taught me this. Go to toga, and when we pitch up, I have to keep the yoke up. I have to continue pulling up. I shouldn't retract it. So keep the pitch up in there. Airspeed's alive. 90 knots. Oh goodness, that's a very long takeoff roll because we are heavy. We are filled with the passengers, I think. There it is, coming up. B1. Rotate. Keep it pulling up. There you go. Don't let go of it. Positive rate. You're up. Looking good. Oh my goodness, what's happening with the clouds? Scary. Okay. 3-3, let's go to speed mode here. Just increasing the speed bug to 250 knots. Go back to climb power. Let's go and go to heading mode. There it is. And immediately go to nav mode, because it's almost straight ahead anyway. There it is. Very nice. And as we reach 200 knots, let's go and bring our flaps up. Thank goodness I turned on anti-ice, because yes, we have clouds immediately after. It doesn't actually align with the METAR, does it? 1 hour later. Yeah, here we are.
Jazz
here we are
8364, climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Contact Edmonton International. Allow departure on 133.65. Have a good one.
Climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure on
13,000.
133.65. Jazz 8364.
Alright, 13,000 is set. Let's go and tune into departure. This is what I mentioned, busy time, right? So it helps that you have it on standby. And I will report in. Thank you, Edmonton.
Jazz 8364, climbing to 13,000 feet.
Jazz 8364, good morning. Squawk 6163.
Oh, my bad. Forgot to turn on ATC. There we go.
Jazz 8364, radar contact.
That actually works, nice. Let's go outside, it's going to get a bit noisy. That's going to be pretty good. Oh, there's a rainbow even. Super cool. Oh no, clouds. Perfect timing. Fine. Yeah, the weather transitions need to be improved. We don't like those sudden ones for sure. But yes, hoping that gets fixed in the next update. Sim update 8 is due next year, early next year. I think January maybe, I'm not so sure. But it should be a bug fixing sim update. Like no new features, just bug fixes. Just I think a very good idea. Okay, what's the temperature like? -4. Okay, we'll keep the anti-ice on. But what we can do is actually after takeoff checks, turn off the reverser and remove the manual cross flow. Taxi lights as well can go off. Nice. And we're almost at 10,000 feet.
flight level 210, contact Edmonton Center on 134.7. Have a good morning.
Center on 134.7, take care, Jazz 8364.
134.7. 10,000 feet. We can increase our speed now to 290. And go and report in to center.
Jazz 8364, climbing to flight level 210.
Along
Jazz
the heading.
8364, good morning. Radar contact.
And let's also turn off the landing lights. And now we're stable. Turn off the seatbelt signs and we are good to go. Very nice. Very nice. I like it. Okay. Climb rate has slowed down a bit. That's okay because we are pushing for 290 knots. Once we're at 290 knots, it will start pitching up again and climb at a bit steeper rate. That looks good. We're also at climb detent. That's good. Okay. I think I can turn off anti-ice. We still have some clouds up ahead, but not sure. That's going to be a big deal. Oh, that looks great. Even with the snow. Yeah, and it is indeed flat, right? Just at 2,000 feet everything here. Looks great there. No traffic. Let's zoom in a bit. Because that's one way. If you're wondering why you don't see traffic here, even if you have your ATC on, make sure that you're in the right range. So the circle should have those, how do you call it, spider legs. Because if you zoom this in, let me just show you, to 40 like that, you don't see the spider legs anymore. And yes, I just mean that, I think. And you don't see traffic anymore. That's outside the range. So if you want to see traffic, keep it in this range right here. But we don't see anything either. So let's consult our AI companion. Yeah, I don't think there is anything. We can check the live map. Yeah, that's us. But yes, there is nothing in the vicinity at the moment. We'll see when that gets loaded again. Pretty cool. Okay, we'll continue monitoring that. Nice. I love that view. Yeah, the weather transitions are not very good at the moment in Sim Update 7, but the clouds, the weather overall is just so amazing in this sim. So hard to complain about it when it looks this good. Okay, let's go and sync the heading again. Heading bug. I'll be doing that for a couple of times. 18,000 feet, almost there. Transition altitude. It starts blinking. Let's switch to local altimeter. Standard altimeter rather. There you go. And if you can't click that, if you're in legacy settings like me, because I don't like the new lock interactions, you can't click that button. You have to right click first and then left click. Right click, left click. Right click, left click. Okay, so that you can push the button. That's the same for all the knobs here, which have a dial and have a button in the middle. So if you want to press this heading button, you have to right click and then left click. 290.
Climb and maintain flight level 290, Jazz 8364.
Outside air temperature is negative 24 degrees. So we shouldn't be at risk of icing anymore. Normally icing is what? Plus 10 to minus 10? Something along those lines. So we should be safe. Now it's time to focus on taking screenshots, right? I think. Well, the next one we're waiting for is Mach 0.74. When our airspeed reaches Mach 0.74, we switch to following that instead of the 290 knots. We'll do that switch by pressing the speed knob here from IAS to Mach, but not yet. Not yet. Still pretty cloudy. Ooh. Yeah, getting pretty laggy in here actually. Looking for the nice angle. Oh, by the way, I think in the flight I did last weekend, I might have taken my best screenshot yet in this sim. Let me show you. I think I shared it in Discord. Let me load it up here. When I'm flying offline, I also like to bring up these what do you call it? These instruments, because they're a bit small in the CRJ, right? Compared to others, it's not as visible. You have to constantly zoom in. So if you have an extra monitor or something, you can like right alt and then left click, maybe these three, and then resize that. Put that somewhere on your other screen so you always you can always keep track of it. I think I clicked on something. I hope not. So even if you're looking outside, for example, you can still see your instruments. Beautiful. Good. I can smell bread. Ooh, the toaster at work. Oh, I love that toaster. It's amazing. Okay, looks like we don't have any traffic in the vicinity anymore. Maybe no flight plans here. Actually, we only have one FedEx from Memphis to Kansai. Wow, from the US to Japan. Goodness, pretty long flight. Let's have a look at that actually. That guy. Flight number 996, FedEx 996. You can actually see the tail number. And here is where it's different. If you're using simple traffic like me, the model here is pretty simple. It will only say twin jet or regional jet, or maybe I don't know what they call it, quad jet. Something like that. But yeah, the model will not be exact. If you're using AIG, then probably that model will say exactly the aircraft model. Something along those lines. So here, even if we're flying through clouds, I'm not really scared about icing. It's too cold already. We're outside, we're at negative 39 outside. So not really at risk of icing, supposedly. I'm not sure if the sim is able to replicate that quite well. But yeah, with recent sim updates, actually they've done a great job at optimizing the panel here. So even if you have a panel outside like this on your other screen, I don't see any performance impact at all anymore. We need further clearance soon. Mach 0.74, we're there. Let's switch to Mach speed. Climb at 0.74. There it is.
Jazz 8364, climb and maintain flight level 330.
There it is, just in
Climb
time.
and maintain flight level 330, Jazz 8364.
Sometimes it's a bit late, which is realistic, right? You don't always get the clearance immediately when you need it, so sometimes you have to level off. In the default ATC from Microsoft Flight Sim, it actually is much worse. You always have to level off, and it takes like, I don't know, a couple of minutes before they give you clearance, which is, in a way, I guess, realistic, but it's too much sometimes.
Contact Edmonton Center on 133.45. Have a good morning.
Center on 133.45, Jazz 8364.
Good. Let's report in. This is something you don't normally get even if you're doing VATSIM. All these constant changes in the frequency. There's not that much frequency change in VATSIM depending on the controller availability.
Jazz 8364 climbing to flight level 330.
But yes, I still hope to switch to
Jazz
VATSIM soon.
8364, good morning. Radar contact.
Maybe next flight we can try it. I'm not sure if we can make it work. Oh, look at this, guys. Looks like the winds are favoring us. 148 knots, tailwind. Look at that. True airspeed 436, ground speed 582 knots. Let's convert that. 582 knots in mph is 670 miles per hour almost. 670 miles. In kph, what is that? 1078 kilometers per hour is our current ground speed. Oh my goodness, 1000! I don't think I've hit this fast before. This tailwind is insane. Let's have a look at the actual wind component. I think if we look at progress in here, go to the next page. Yeah, look at that. Tailwind is 147 knots. It's 149 all in all, but since the direction is almost exactly the way we're headed, we are almost getting that as a tailwind component. It's amazing. It is amazing. That's pretty favorable. I'll take it. 1000 to go as well. By the way, that chime. Let's see. And I did want to check some things. 1 second. If I remember later. Okay, no one on the air anymore. Okay, altitude capture. So we'll have to dial down the throttle a bit. Get out of the climb detent. Maybe move to around 85%, 84% N1 is a good starting point. Something like that might be a bit low. Something like that, maybe 84. It's a bit finicky. Yeah, it's still climbing. 1 second. The throttle logic for this plane is a bit interesting. Doesn't feel linear. There's some magic happening in there. There, 84. Okay. And then we'll monitor the speed. That will adjust as long as we're near that range. I'm good. From around Mach 0.74 to 0.77. Okay, looks like we have zero traffic in the air. Oh, that's sad. Should I increase the traffic maybe? Let's keep it for now. Let's have a look at the performance VNAV setup. MFD menu. Let's go and turn on the window here. So we see our times. We have 43 minutes till we get to Regina. 250 nautical miles. And our top of descent will be 41 minutes from now. Is that real? That seems pretty late. It's like... Yeah, look at this. 41 minutes.
64, contact Winnipeg
And
Central
43.
at
Like 2 minutes
132.8.
before.
Have a nice day.
I find that is almost always wrong.
Center
That calculation.
132.8 Jazz 8364.
132.8.
Jazz 8364 climbing to flight level 330. Jazz 8364, good morning. Radar contact.
Looks like we're speeding up too much for Mach 0.78 now, so I'll pull it back. Maybe 83%. Make that work. Okay, good. I was wanting to check something. I forgot about it. Dang it. Second, let me recall. Oh, yes. I wanted to learn more about the SimBrief OFP. This guy. So we saw the tailwind, right? We had around 150 knots almost tailwind. I wanted to see because they do have it here. They do have airport weather list. Okay. Oh, segments. Some intense weather. Oh, 1 second. I see traffic. WestJet en route. Oh, look at this one. They actually have some more stats. There is a distance to player, so you see how far away they are from me. It's quite nice. Oh, flight level 330 as well. Same altitude as us. 270 knots. He's a bit slow though. But that might just be indicated airspeed. Our indicated is 280. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to Sim Reef. I wanted to learn that. So I wanted to check the thing here. Company NOTAMs. No, this one. I wanted to learn how to read these guys. I'm sure this is indicative of the wind. Maybe it does say there, right? So this one is flight level 300. This one is flight level 340. This one is 390. Okay. And what is that blue thing? Oh, that's pretty cool. At flight level 370 something? Is that a jet stream maybe? Not sure. But yeah, the winds don't seem to align very well. If you look at 340, this is the closest thing. We can see... Can we read that properly? We zoom in maybe. It does say minus 55, minus 56. I wonder if that's the wind component. Or maybe not. Because if I try and read the winds here, that might be 50. That might... This like triangle here might correspond to 50. You guys think? So that's 100. And that might be 10. So this is 120 knots. This is 125. This is 135. This is one... I think it's more like that. At least, if I read it like that, it's a lot closer to the 151 knots that we're seeing. Look at this, guys. 600 knots ground speed. My fastest flight ever, I think. 600 knots. Oh my goodness. Okay, looks like something's coming for us. 18 miles away. Say WestJet. I don't see it in TCAS yet. I should see it soon. But if you look at the live map... Oh, there he is. There he is. There we are. We are almost like crossing each other. This is actually nice. This is the context that I'm missing. And the AI companion adds that perfectly. Just seeing aircraft in the air. Seeing more context on where they're going. So we are on both flight level 330, but we are 15 miles apart. So we should see that guy here actually. Yeah, I wonder why not. Let me see if I'm missing anything here in the setup. I am ATC selected. Is there an option to turn that off? Actually, I'm not so sure. Yeah, I don't think there is. We should see that guy here. Interesting. Okay, one second. Let me zoom out. Okay, we do have top of descent in around 80 miles from now. They're a bit fast. Let's pull back a bit. Looking good. So yeah, this seems a bit more like hundreds, but I'm not sure if that's the right way to read it, because maybe that number is that one already, or maybe that is the crosswind component. I'm not sure. Pretty cool though. There is something like that. Even has a top of descent. And what is this one? Interesting. Yeah, that's our flight plan. And there is this flight level 400, like 150, 170 knot winds. Maybe that's the jet stream. Is there such a thing here? Maybe. Lots to learn if you want to learn more details about this OFP. But yeah, usually I just read this part here. And what we can also read is this part, the flight log. So at top of descent, we should have 5.8 estimated fuel on board. That's EFOB. And then you plug in the actual fuel on board on the blank space. Right now we are at 6.6. And we are around 80 miles away. So it's not that far away, I think, the estimates. Not that bad. Let's have a look outside. Go for a bit of sightseeing. If my controller will turn on. There it is. Oh, less snow here. As you can see, the snow transitions actually. Let's lower the volume a little. There. You can kind of see the transition of the snow. Very nice. It's just the transitions that need to get improved. When the weather is changing, right? In front of your eyes. Right now it's instant and it shouldn't be.
Jazz 8364, expect the Ontos 6 arrival with the Ontos transition for the ILS approach to runway 13 at Regina International. Contact Winnipeg Center on 133.1. Enjoy your morning.
One second.
Expect the Ontos 6 arrival with the Ontos transition for the ILS approach to runway 13 Center on 133.1. Jazz 8364.
Okay.
Jazz 8364 at flight level 330.
It's actually
Jazz
getting
8364, good morning. Radar contact.
I think it's planning a top of descent for us much sooner than what we're planning. Okay. But yes, let's brief the arrival a bit. Pretty straightforward though. We start in Antos. We go on a 114 track towards Cheps. The only vertical restriction is we have to be above 4,000 feet. That's it. Above 4,000. And then next part is ILS. 4,000 feet. Intercept the glide slope. 6.4 miles away. So 6.4 DME, I guess, from the ILS. ILS frequency 109.5, 128 degrees. On the course, looking pretty good. A ATIS tower. Let's go and check the weather there once we're near. Towers 118.6. Let's plug that in the standby. And the minimums are 2,095 for a full ILS here. High intensity. What is ALS? Airport light system? I always forget what this means, but these are lights. Looks good there. Let's have a look at the airport. This is the airport runway 13, so we're landing. You have approach lights in there. Runway 13. High intensity runway lights. You have PAPI lights on the left side, 3-degree glide slope. Looks pretty straightforward, and we do a taxi to the left once we get there. Okay, if I remember all of that. Okay. Bit by bit. Right. Let's get back the normal volume. We good outside. Let's go for a bit of sightseeing before we start descending. So we'll be descending to 4,000 feet most likely, right? Yeah, that looks amazing. Goodness. Have a look at this right side. No mountains, all plains. I'll take it. Top of descent is indeed coming up. It's less than 20 miles away, actually. We'll probably be given some descent instructions, cross something at this height, at this altitude. Let's stay tuned for it. But now that that's coming in, maybe I can already do this. Already setting the altitude to 4,000. We're not descending yet.
64, contact Winnipeg Center on 132.8. Enjoy your morning.
132.8.
Center on 132.8, Jazz 8364.
So even if I set the altitude to 4,000, it's not descending because I'm still in altitude mode. I'm still not telling it how to descend. I'm just telling it I want to go there, but not yet.
Jazz 8364 at 4,000 feet.
Jazz 8364, good
Not
morning.
really.
Radar contact. Altimeter 2964. Jazz 8364, descend.
We'll cross Ontos at 9,000 feet, then descend via the Ontos 6 arrival with the Ontos transition to 4,000 feet, altimeter 2972, Jazz 8364.
9,000 feet. Oh, that's not going well. Can't actually change current waypoint. Oh, there we go. Now it does. There we go. Now that changes top of descent. Makes it a bit faster. Let's go for direct intercept here. Okay, Antos at 9,000. We need to be descending at 2,700 feet per minute. Let's go and start that now. So let's go VS. Let's go and pull back. Yeah, I guess Pilot to ATC is reading the altitude selector. So because I set things to 4,000, it's already trying that out for me. It's already reading that for me. And at Antos, I forgot something. We have to read the airport elevation, 189.5. So I'm setting that here, 1895. 1 second, 1895. So I'm setting that to 1,900 feet, the landing elevation, so that the pressurization is correct all throughout. Have a good one, Mechanical. Thank you for hanging out. Catch you soon. Thanks, man, and enjoy the 2 hours. Well, looking forward to those stories. Have a good one. Have a good night. Okay. 2,800. Pulling back on the throttle a bit because we're a bit fast. Let's go to flight idle. I'm picking up speed. There we go. Maybe I'll put this on my other screen too, just so I have more reference for it. Good. So far so good. Do we have any traffic? We have 3 actually. Nice. We have a Cathay Pacific, an Air Canada, and a United. Where are you guys going? All of them are a bit far from us though. There is a quad jet indeed. The Cathay Pacific is probably a 747 or maybe an A380. I'm not sure what their fleet is composed of. But this one is coming from Miami to Anchorage in Alaska. Nice. And one is coming from San Francisco going to Heathrow. Wow. Cool. Alright, 1 second. Let's go and focus here. Speed at 290. There you go. There was... Let me see if I can see that here already. Does it show? Moose Jaw Airport. I hope you can just type stuff here and see things in the meta. But this is a great step forward that this is part of the sim now. Charlie Yankee Quebec Romeo is what I'm looking for. Regina. Don't see it quite yet. Okay. Hey Arianis. Good morning. How are things? Have you been flying lately? Either in the sim or in real life? Looks like I'm also a bit too steep.
Contact Winnipeg Center on 133.1. Have a nice day.
133.1.
Center on 133.1 Jazz 8364.
Okay, looking good.
Jazz 8364 descending to 4,000 feet.
Jazz 8364, good morning. Radar contact.
Looking good, we're getting close. Still don't know the weather, but what I can do actually is there is an option here. If you click the arrival airport in Pilot to ATC and click weather, it will actually look at the weather for you. 2972. Temperature is -1 there. A bit cold, huh? 2972, okay. Let's put that in here on standby. Just so I have a reminder what to put it at later. You can also shallow out the descent a bit more, 1900. I'm just looking at this direct intercept page and copying that VS in there. I just have it in my other screen so it's easier to access. Hey Seamus, thanks for joining. Yeah, sorry, I think Mechanical left already. Not sure if you guys, if he's still here. Have a look at the live map. This is, I think, something I'll be looking at more and more. Player, we have an Air Canada in there. United Airlines, we have the WestJet. Pretty cool. You did real life, you flew too much. Cargo is 3 times more work for half the pay. Oh, is the salary different if you're flying cargo and if you're flying passengers? I guess that kind of makes sense. The stakes are higher, right? But didn't know there was an actual difference in there. Okay, let's switch to local altimeter 2972. Based on the snowflake, we are still right in the middle of the vertical profile, also with the VS in there, and that just aligns perfectly well with the VS that is recommended for us there. Perfect. So let's keep that going. 1800. Let's just shallow that out a bit. I do need to slow down soon, so I'm going to start going to flight idle in here, slow it down to 250 knots, so by the time we hit 10,000 will be below, or at least at most 250. Hey Entrance, thank you for following. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing okay. What are you flying, Arianas? Is it the what was the A220, was it? Or are you flying something different now? I hope I got the model right. Okay, slowing it down. Not getting slowed down so much, but we are going to shallow out the descent a bit, so we are a bit lower than the vertical profile. That looks good. And that looks like a proper descent. Even the speed is just bleeding off slowly. If we needed, we can always do speed brakes, but as much as possible I try to not use the speed brakes. So we have proper planning in there, proper getting ahead of the flight a bit more. Okay, looking good. Looking good. Shall we set our V speeds? We can set our V2 go around, and I always can't remember this VF2, what it's for. Most of the other planes I've flown don't have that. Not sure what that is, but let's put that in. Okay, looking good. Peps 4,000, looks like we'll get there perfectly fine, perfectly on time. And we need also to shallow out the descent a bit. There we go. We also have the range to altitude, also called as the Boeing banana. You can see that we will be reaching 4,000 feet, our altitude that we selected on that range based on our current descent rate. So that's almost exactly right? 4,000 above. Alright, there we go, 250 knots. We are now below 250 knots, perfect. So we can now start applying a bit of power. Still keep as close as possible to 250. Although we do have a speed restriction there at Cheps 190. I didn't see that. Okay, maybe I keep it on idle and we continue descending. We continue slowing down to 190 this time. The speed bug helps, even though the speed bug is not really doing anything on the autopilot. It helps if you have a visual reference, so you know what speed you need to aim for, even though that adjustment is manual. VF2 is final takeoff speed. Final takeoff speed. I see. So as you take off, that's the speed that you're targeting. I see. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Because the V2 is actually the single engine speed, right? So if you lost an engine, you stay at V2 and you'll still be able to climb then. But if you have both engines, then the normal operations, you're aiming for VF2, VFDO. Very nice, thank you. Thanks, Monkey. Okay, looks good. Shallow it out even more, 1,200. Keep slowing it down. Reaching 10,000 feet, let's go ahead and... Oh, that's the one I turned on, the landing lights a while ago. With the magic click spot in here. Looking good, slowing it down. Crossing 10,000 feet. Very steady descent. 1,100 now. Looking good. We're now actually 220 knots. We can actually deploy some flaps if we need to slow down, because the VFE for 8 in 1 degree flaps is 230, 20 degrees 220. So we can actually go up to flaps 20 now safely. Nice. Let's go and do that. So flaps 1, flaps 8, flaps 20. And we'll slow it to 190 knots. You can see the barber poles creeping up there. There we go. So let me have a look.
64 altimeter 2972 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 13 at Regina International.
Cleared for the
Altimeter
ILS.
2972 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 13 Jazz 8364.
So let me double check the frequency. Should be 109.5. Yes, okay, perfect. So we should get that soon as we get closer. That is getting auto-tuned by the FMS. Thank you. Yeah, the HUD is still not working, unfortunately. Yeah, there's no update yet for Sim Update 7, as far as I know. Let's double check. Yeah, this is broken. Inop. Cargo is only thing flying regularly in Europe now. Ah, yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true. In Europe, you guys have lockdown again, right? Numbers are increasing, so stay safe. Big pool of pilots to hire. I can dictate lower salary. Ah, dang it. An A321. Oh, nice. A321. It's perfect for TOLIS then, huh? Are you still flying the TOLIS in the sim? Or you have enough real-life flights now that you don't need it? You haven't touched it in a while. There you go. Looks good. So we're getting close to the final approach there. Let me turn on our reversers so I don't forget. Anything else I'm missing? I'm not going through the checklist. That's always a bad idea. Yeah, looking good so far. Let's keep it there. Let's turn the speed knob to 170 knots. Also, I haven't briefed the missed approach again, so
Jazz
we might need that.
8364, altimeter 2972 at Regina, International Contact Tower on 118.6. Have a good morning.
8.6.
Altimeter 2972 tower on 118.6 Jazz 8364.
Right, and there will report that we are on the approach. We are inbound for ILS 13.
Jazz 8364 inbound for ILS approach to runway 13. Jazz 8364, good afternoon. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 13 call when established on final. Continue ILS to runway 13 will call when established on final Jazz 8364.
I do have the Lock 1 already alive there. So I can actually switch over the localizer 128 degrees. That's perfect. We switch back to roll, so I have to go back to nav here because I changed nav modes. That's normal, that's okay. Slow it down, pull back. Looking good. TOLIS A320 support cargo flights in on-air. It should. From what I remember with the TOLIS, you can easily set the weights in the sim. Yeah, I'm not sure why Fly-by-Wire decided that. So that's weird. You can only set the weight through SimBrief.
Ladies and gentlemen,
1,000 to
we
go.
are about to land. Please remain seated until we have stopped.
Looking good. You're leveling out soon. I see the glide slope. When that glide slope is 1 dot away, I'll start extending my flaps. Lowering my landing gear rather. Good. So, yes, missed approach. In case we need it again, like last week. It's just pretty straightforward. Climb straight towards the Regina NDB. Climb to 4,000 feet and hold. Is that right? Climb to 4,000, track 128 to Regina NDB. Yes. Okay, good. So I'll keep the altitude selector at 4,000. After we have crossed the glide slope. After we've intercepted the glide slope. Okay. Let me adjust the heading bug here. 128. How are the winds looking like? Winds are 300 actually. Yeah, not the best runway for this one I think, but it's the only one that has ILS. Although with this nice weather, maybe we don't need ILS anyway, right? Have a look at the... That looks good. The missed approach procedure, right? 4,000 feet at Regina NDB. Quebec Romeo. Looks pretty good. 1 dot away. Yes, there you go. Let's go ahead and lower the landing gear. We get an indication there. Once those are green, then we should be good. Let's go ahead and arm the approach so that we can intercept the glide slope when it's in the middle. There it is, perfect. And now let's go to VREF so that the speed bug changes, and let's go and slow down. I should actually have done that beforehand. That's okay. Alright, we're descending. Looking good. We're not yet cleared for landing, so I will not turn on the taxi lights. I'll turn that on when we get our landing clearance. Go to flaps 30. Speed check. Going to full flaps. New setting. In fly-by-wire. Still missing VNAV, but custom FMS now. Nice. Oh crap, but yeah, the passenger count is very bad, huh? Or the cargo count, rather. Okay, concentrating a bit here, guys. I think I'm good. I hope I got things right. We are established. I forgot to report. Dang it.
Jazz 8364 established on final for ILS runway 13. Jazz 8364 winds are 300 at 9 knots, clear to land runway 13.
Clear to land. Taxi lights on.
Clear to land runway 13, Jazz 8364.
Turning off autopilot. Let's do this. Okay. Wind's coming from the back of it. We have a bit of tailwind. So I have to touch down on the actual touchdown zone. So we maximize our
400.
Landing roll. We minimize rather.
300.
Sync rate.
200.
It's too steep.
Sync rate.
That's too steep, too steep.
100.
It's okay. Make it work.
50.
Thank you.
40. 30. 20. 10.
Land it, land it. There it is. Reverser. Bit of tailwind.
Jazz 8364 exit
Aileron
runway
deflection. Looking good. Looking good, looking good. Even with a bit of tailwind. Woo! I think we're actually going to consume the entire length of the runway here. Yeah, that tailwind was a huge factor in that landing roll. Goodness, this thing wouldn't slow down. Granted, I'm not really stepping on the brakes just yet. That's okay. Phew. Ground spoilers also deployed. That's good. Awesome.
Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop.
Hey, Hapods. How are you? Thank you for joining. Let me go ahead and open the chart here on the other screen, the airport chart. So I know where to go. It's basically a small airport, so just go there. There's only one gate area. So let's clear the runway here. After we cross this line, I'll report that we're clear of the runway. And let's just continue on. Okay. Cleaning up the flaps. Report in.
Clear of active Jazz 8364.
Turn off the reversers.
Jazz
Turn off the
8364
landing
contact
lights.
ground on
Turn off
121.9.
strobes.
Enjoy your stay.
Turn on the APU.
Ground on
Oh, you can see
121.9
aircraft in there.
Jazz
So nice.
8364.
So nice. Alright, but I won't be calling ground anymore. How do you know how to work planes so well? Oh, thank you for that. I started from scratch. I started pretty late. But I started maybe 2 years ago only. But yes, it's a great journey. Learning from YouTube videos, from other streamers, from forums. It's a very nice community. So you learn a lot of things as you expose yourself to it. Yeah, so initially I knew nothing about planes. But yes, you can easily catch up these days because of all the amazing content you can see online. That looks good. Let's see, what kind of planes do we have on the ground there? You have a couple. You have 6 on the ground. WestJet and Air Canada mostly. Very nice. We have the APU available. That's nice. That means we can go ahead and shut down the engines safely without losing power after we're parked. Very nice. I'll take it. Hey, British Gamer. Sorry for the late response. How are you? Thanks for joining. How's it going, man? Let's turn off the flight directors here. Looking pretty good. Man, there's really something that adds to the immersion, right? When you see the planes, when you see planes in the first place, and when you see they have real life liveries, depending on where you are, it's such an amazing feeling. Simple traffic is really nice. And minimal effort. Although if you're a real aviation buff, you will probably notice the wrong models, the wrong aircrafts in there. It shouldn't be this. It should be a 757. It should be the one with winglets and all that stuff. So those details are not included in simple traffic. The most details that they can give are if it's two engines, 4 engines, if it's a smaller or bigger airliner, but not much after that. Can we squeeze in here, I guess? I hope so. Let's make our way here. Thanks, man. Maybe I can taxi a bit later. It's a bit skimpy. A bit skimpy in here if we can fit in there. Let's have a look outside. Oh, we are pretty small compared to these guys. Yeah, I think it will be a tight squeeze, but we can make it. Just squeeze in between those wings. Yes, I think so. So this might just be perfect for our spot. Let's taxi all the way to the end there. Being good. I think that's okay. Turn on the parking brakes. Let's go and turn off the taxi lights. Turn off the seatbelt signs. And then we can now shut down the engine. Nice. Off the nav lights. Open the doors.
Ladies and gentlemen, the door is open. Please make your way to the exit and please make sure you have all your personal items and carry-on luggage.
Put the chocks in, so we don't need the brakes anymore. Beacons off now that the engine is fully closed. The engines are fully closed. And we can clean up the plane. But 1 second, let's go outside first and have a look. Did we fit in nicely in between these two guys? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. It's a bit close, but I think it's safe. I think that does happen, right? Yeah, not too bad. I'll take it. Very nice. Ah, super cool seeing all these planes. Good. Good. What advice would you give to play this from knowing nothing? Oh, yes. Just get in. And what you can do, so if you have a powerful enough PC, I recommend buying Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's a good in my opinion, it's the best simulator out there right now with the current generation standards. And then it has actually tutorials for you. You know what? We can check that out. We're a bit early, so let's do that. So let me just clean up the plane here, and then shut down, and then let me show you that one. Turn off everything. Looks good. Turn off the APU now. Plane power's off except for the essential things, and now we turn off the battery. I was going to get it with Game Pass. That is perfect. Yes, that is perfect. Because Game Pass allows you to also get other games, right? And it's pretty cheap in comparison to getting the plane on its own. Right, so yes. Good flight there. Let's go and close it out. I'll take it. We actually have a bit of time to fly around. Oh, yeah, we can take the Milvis PC6. Interesting. So, yes, if you get Microsoft Flight Simulator, they do have this flight training part here. Sorry, it's Mrs. Clumsy. Yes, so they do have flight training here, so you can start with basic handling, takeoff and landing, VFR navigation, so you can go through these things one by one, and it's a good starting point. It won't get you all the info you need because that's, well, until now we're all still learning, so it's a continuous process, but it's a good first step. And then from there, if you start craving for more, and hopefully you will, you can look at YouTube videos, real life pilots having instructions, and you have different simmers. You can learn from them. So I think YouTube or Twitch is the way to go afterwards, and then start learning from there. Find your favorite YouTuber. Normally what I do is I focus on one plane at a time, so it's not confusing because each plane has so many systems, different planes. So focus on one and look for in YouTube for that specific plane, whether it's a simmer or a real-life pilot focusing on that plane, so you really know the ins and outs of that plane, and when you're comfortable with it, then you switch to another one. But don't jump planes because it's going to get confusing. We will be having ATS on Friday. Yes, it's going to be a troubleshooting stream. Because we will be trying a convoy in Pro Mods Canada, and the last time we tried that, it crashed, so we'll try it again. We will replicate the crash, and we will try to iron it out and remove the crash, so we'll see. Right, have a good one, British Gamer. Yes, exactly, that's the beauty of these sims. Alright, looking good. How many hours are we now? Why is the pilot profile blank? Oh, there we go, 488 hours. Getting close to 500. I like it. You too, take care. Catch you next time, man. Hey, bot. Glad you made it. So we do have a few minutes. We can go on a flight here. We can take the Milvis, maybe. Tail dragger, very nice. Have anywhere you want to fly? You want to fly around here in Regina? Not that one. Controls. If I can remember which settings they are, they really have to implement this, that the sim has its own the flight controls, the presets change depending on the plane you're flying. I can explain, because right now it's all manual. There we go, that's the Piper. No, I think I want it at minus 25. That one. Okay. Flight control quadrant is the single turboprop, I think. Rudder is this one, I think that's good. Okay, let's hope that works. Alpha yoke and throttle quadrant. Goodness, that is amazing, man. Enjoy it. Yeah, no regrets there. I'm using the Alpha yoke myself. I don't have the Bravo though. I don't have the throttle quadrant, but I've heard very, very good things about both of these. And yes, I can personally attest to the Alpha yoke. You won't regret it. So good. When I switched from my CH yoke to the Alpha yoke, my goodness, it was night and day. The CH yoke felt like a toy, and it was pretty cheap. But it was a good starting yoke, but I started craving for more, and the Alpha yoke is it. Oh yes, definitely, right? Yeah. Now when you're hand flying, feels so good. Right. Maybe let's see. Do we fly somewhere here? Regina. Let's have a look. Is there something to see in this area? We can go around. I guess that would be a pretty on point. Look at this. The satellite images aren't matching. When you zoom in, it's a bit more middle of fall maybe. Or late autumn. Late fall. Here it's a bit more like summer maybe. Yeah, maybe we can head on to Grand Coulee. Why does that sound familiar? Is there a town, a city like this in the US? It does sound very familiar. Winnipeg. Let's go and switch to the PC6 by Milviz. Which one is it? Milviz, this one. Yes. Which livery are we choosing? I'm not so sure actually. Turbo Porter. Is there a Canadian one? What's the tail number for Canada? Does anyone know? Well, we can just base it on looks. This one looks pretty good. What is that? Oh, local players. Nice. Yeah, we can fly here and just go sightseeing. Is there a GA ramp? It looks like there is. Yeah, perfect. Good. Flight conditions. So what I try to do here is I actually go and the air traffic I set to off in the beginning, and then I just put the AI back in when I'm loaded in. Because if you put AI like this and you load in, it's a bit buggy. The AI logic is a bit buggy. You'll see planes buzzing the tower and stuff like that. It's a bit weird. But if you turn it off like this, it's more good. It's more proper. The planes are a bit more behaved. So we took the CRJ to Regina, and now we've done our job. We're now going for leisure. Go for a bit of sightseeing. Where are we going though? I'm not so sure. We can go to a nearby airport, I guess. How about Russell? Looking at some airports in here. That kind of works-ish. Charlie Juliet Whiskey 5 won this year. That might be a different country, huh? What country is this, guys? 3G. It's the tail number. This might be a military plane, a livery at least. Okay, good. That looks good. That looks good. Nice. Okay. Alright, that looks great. How about these ones? Okay, that looks good as well. Let's go and turn off the pilot. I'm not a fan of having pilots visible in the cockpit. I'm not sure about you guys. I just try to turn that off every time. We have different covers in there. Let's just remove them all. Passenger or cargo? Let's go for that trapdoor thing. I like that. That guy. So if you look behind us, you see the trapdoor there, and you can actually pull this guy and you can release the cargo. Or we can also like open the door here. And that automatically closes when you're like descending steep enough, like the momentum closes the door. Very nice. And then I don't think we'll need external tanks because that's pretty heavy. So do that, you can feel the weight of the plane going up a bit. That should make us lighter. Looks good. Okay. Alright. So let's go through here. Those are all removed. Doors are closed and locked. Bye, Mrs. Clumsy. I forgot you can't pause the track IR like this anymore. Okay, control lock is released. Let's double check that. That's over on this side. I think it's released by default. Yes, it's locked right now. If I release it, There it is. Okay, good. Flight controls, free and correct. It's free. Is it correct? Looks good so far. Parking brake is set. Power lever is idle. Idle control lever is in cutoff. Outside air temperature, if we look here, that's 0 degrees Celsius. The inner dial. So below +10. Propeller control lever is full forward. That is in reverse. Oy, 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 oy. Why is that reversing? Tricky, tricky, tricky. Let's have a look. There might have been an update here. This is why you go through the checklist, right? Because something might have changed, something might have bugged out. So you don't want to discover that in the middle of a flight. That being said, it helps if things load. There you go. Thank you. Let's have a look. Single turboprop. So if we look at this thing, propeller axis, is it reversed? Like that, supposedly, maybe. There it is. Now it's proper. But I think it's wrong still. Yeah, it's only going into the reverse. Yikes. Okay. Let's not use that instead. 1 second and we bring that back. It's a bit scary. That might trigger at some point, at some random point. So flight control, power management. This guy, let's just bring it back to normal. That full forward. Okay, yeah, I've read that the I'm not sure if there's been an update, but the PC6 was impacted by Sim Update 7 as well. Some of I think the reverser doesn't work anymore, at least the key binding for it. So I have to be very wary of that. Okay, we have the starter switch. Oh, and one thing I forgot was the AI. We can bring those back in now. The traffic, bring that back. Maybe we can bring it back to 35, you guys think? Fly. There you go. AJ, how's it going? Starter is off, ignition, generator, aux fuel pump, landing lights, everything is off basically. Bus switches are off and the ties should be pulled. There you go. Alright, from there, we move the batteries on. There it is. The fuel system valve is open. That's this guy. Avionics bus 1 is on. I saw that they were updating this, the G1000 NXI, to have like a startup sequence actually. Quite nice. Power on sequence is complete. Check the fuel. We'll have to turn on bus 2 as well to check the fuel. Yeah, in the middle. Looks good. Engine instruments. Looking okay. Yes, oil temperature is above -40. It's at -1. Looks good. You can start the engine. Good morning, bro, man, dude. How did you get to the PC6 now? Yeah, we finished the flight with the CRJ, so we moved to the PC6 to explore here in Regina. Okay, looks good. Aux fuel pump is on. Open the window. Clear prop. Starter switch. We turn that on. I want to go here though, because as we turn this on, the oil pressure should rise, and then we turn the ignition on, and at 12% NG we start going to low idle. Okay, so this is going to go in sequence. Starter, see the oil pressure rising, NG rising, turn on the ignition. Right, at 12% minimum NG, it is above. Go to low idle. IDT goes up, doesn't go to the red area. Start hearing the beauty of the sounds. We're monitoring the temperature that doesn't go above hot start. Looking good. Minimum 46%. Yeah, that looks like good start. Now that means we can turn off the starter and the ignition. Nice. Oh crap, the propellers are in feathered mode again. Yeah, I think I have to remove the mapping here. 1 second, guys. I have to remove that mapping. Isn't it cloudy? You have bad weather there. Oh, I see. Yeah, a bit. Weather is pretty good. There are a few clouds, but not bad. Bad. Keep safe, man. Keep safe. 1 second. Let me just go here. Let me just remove that thing for now. Okay. So it doesn't impact us. Going for the new Turtle Beach Velocity 1 yoke and throttle. Yeah, that's how things are these days. Everything is being bought by bots, so it's hard to keep up. And the stocks are so limited. Right, so that looks good. It's off. Oil pressure is in the green range, is it? Yeah, it is. ITT below 660. Looking good. Now we can all move the propeller to full forward. There we go. RPM is rising. Should actually hear that. There it is. Oh, that is amazing, that sound. Full forward. Generator switch, we can turn that on so the battery gets charged. Avionics bus 2 is on, and then we tie. Does anyone know what this does? The avionics bus tie? I'm guessing it links together the avionics bus 1 and 2, but I don't really know the details about that. Okay, looks good. A cyclone. Oh yeah, I saw it. Goodness, it's still there? Does it stay that long? Wow. Stay safe, man. Landing lights. Let's turn on the landing lights just to be on the safe side. You can see it's facing downwards, but if we move this one, there you go. It actually animates. What the heck? We have icing. -3 degrees outside and it's icing on the ground. Oh my goodness. Do we have anti-ice here? I'm not so sure. We do have anti-ice. I hope that helps. Prop the ice. Yeah, let's turn that on as well. It's the cabin. Fine. Oh, we can actually hear it. Hey, that's cool. Is there somewhere you can adjust how strong the fan is? Quite nice, actually. Doesn't stay long, but there are multiple cyclones. My goodness. Sounds scary. Stay safe, man. Stay safe. Let's turn that off. It's a bit loud, isn't it? The fan. Yeah. Just keep it there. Couldn't get it either. Honeycomb, yeah, you won't regret the honeycomb. I'm not sure about the Turtle Beach. I haven't read any reviews about it, but yes, I can really vouch for the honeycomb. It's great. Alright, let's see, where are we going here? Runway 13 would be on the opposite side. Oh, this guy taxis like crazy. That ice is not dissipating, it's a bit scary. Like I constantly have to hold the brakes here because it's just accelerating like crazy. And because this is a tail dragger, it's hard to see outside. The sun is covered almost all the time, my goodness. So you guys are staying home then? Yeah, Hoping for the best, man. Keep safe there. Yeah, the ice at the lower part of the windshield. It's a bit scary. Not sure if I'm doing something wrong with this, but okay. 1 second, let's go and check the transponder. Let's go to alt mode so I don't forget. Oh my goodness, we're going so fast. We're at low idle there and still it's going there already. Okay. Turning right here. Thankfully we have a synthetic vision here, so I can continue looking and navigating. 128 on the heading. Shooting it off because of how fast it is. Tail wheel lock is steerable. Parking brake is released. Yes, that's working. Those are working. Oh, this is what we shouldn't forget. The rudder trim and all the trims. Let's go straight there. Hey, Chrome. Silver knobs on the upper right on the G1000. Oh, thank you, thank you. Because I turned the anti-ice here, that might not be enough, huh? Thanks, Chrome. Let's try it out. Oh, these guys. Pull for warm. Warm pull. Okay, let's turn on everything. Oh crap, we're on the ground. We're on grass. Do we also need to turn on the fans? Let's turn the fans. All the heating, turn it on. Okay, let's hold short here and finish setting up right before the runway. That's runway 13. There. Runway 13. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so I pulled everything there. Hopefully that works. Pull everything. Okay, good. Right, let's see. Stab trim. So let's look at the trims here. Yes. Aileron trim. Yes, in the green. Now this one is important. Rudder trim. Put it in the green. So we put the rudder trim here. This is important for tail draggers especially. All the way there. So much to the right. Flaps 28 degrees. So let's go flaps 10, 20, 28. Good. Let's do again. Control stick is free and correct. Full travel. Yes, no hindrance. This thing does taxi like crazy. R2D2 to wipe that windshield, I know, right? Altimeter setting, that's what we haven't checked yet. Let's go and check the weather here. 2975 was it? Let's have a look at Regina. 220 at 3 knots. 2968. That's different now, okay. 2968. 1 second, am I looking at the wrong thing? There it is. That's the course. This is the barrel, the bigger dial. 29068. Is that correct? Airport elevation is 1,900. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, good. Right, nice. Sometimes turn the prop speed down as well. Ah, yeah, that might be a good idea. RPM here, huh? Right. Might need that, Chrome. Doesn't seem like it's helping much the icing. Hopefully we should get on the air. I have my doubts though. Fuel quantity is checked. Aux fuel pump is still on, yes. Anti-ice, I do have that on, yes. Prop anti-ice is also on. Heating control. Set to off for takeoff, but I think I need it. And then we set the tail wheel to locked once we are on the runway. Let's go and line up first though. That's true, bot. That's true. Will be a short flight, although I think it's lessening. I'm not sure if I'm just imagining it. Okay, runway looks clear. Let's line up here. We won't need much of the runway anyway. Climb up to, I don't know, 4,000 feet maybe. Center line. And what I learned is with these tail draggers, you have to apply very slow the power so that it doesn't get out of hand, because it can easily sway left and right. It's a bit more sensitive that way. Okay. So tail wheel is locked. Let's go to high idle. Oh, I love that sound. Take off. Okay, make sure not to over torque the engine. Alright, looking good. Ready. Get clearance. What's your vector? Yeah, no ATC today. Actually, let's close this one. Yeah. Actually, no, what? No. It's the wrong thing. I have to apply throttle slowly. There you go. As we move, I apply more power and I keep it straight as much as I can. I pull back a little as well. It starts swaying. Oh, that's what I hate. The ground handling is still not the best, but it's getting there. There it is. Especially with crosswinds, it's a bit more sensitive. Looking good. No gears to speak of. Let's go ahead and start moving our flaps up bit by bit. Good. Welcome to Regina, everybody. Find this hard to land too. Yeah, same with me. For me, it's not so much the bouncing, it's more the swerving left and right. Looks like the effect is so exaggerated. Oh look guys, the icing is gone. You guys are great. Thank you, Chrome. Yeah, maybe it only works when you're airborne. Okay, let's turn off the fans. It's a bit too noisy, the fan. There you go. Ah, that's a lot better. Good. Let's continue climbing. And let me go through the checklist here. That's looking good, below the limits. Our oil temperature is pretty hot though. That's pretty alarming. Yeah, our oil temperature is in the red range. That's not good. Is it maybe because of anti-ice? Not so sure. Not so sure what's causing that. Might have missed a step or so. Flaps are up, aux fuel pump is... Yeah, oil temperature is not normal. This might be a short flight, guys. Maybe I should have aborted the takeoff there, huh? Okay, landing lights can go off. Okay, let's zoom out here. I did remove my terrain masks for Four Seasons mod. I don't like how they make the airports look. I don't think we need the terrain masks anyway. Looking good. I see an airport to the right. Let's see. Declutter. All. There you go. Those are all the airports. There's an airport to the right. Let's go and visit it. The ice was gone before I took off. Ah, okay. Thank you. Thanks. Good spot. So that really worked, pulling those silver things. Thank you. Shall we do the drop right above the airport? Yeah, let's try it. Let's level off at 4,000 here. And look for that airport. Should be to our right. You guys see it? Not quite. Man, the weather here is good. There we go. So Jay, I'm not sure if you're still here. The cyclones, is that in the entirety of India or a specific part? Which part is it? I do have some colleagues in India. Maybe I should check how they're doing. Okay. Okay, thanks Jay. Looking good there. Alright. Airport. That might be it. Doesn't look like an airport to me though. Maybe that one? Nothing much in here though, is there? Planes and planes all throughout. But it's quite scenic. Give it that. It's a big airport where we came from. The whole of South part. Okay, thank you. Let's take a look at the map. Maybe we can check that out. Let's land here maybe. And let's see. Okay, looks like the oil temperature is now normalized. Thankfully, I'm not sure what caused that. Might be something I missed in there. Might be the anti-ice is causing it to go hotter. I'm not sure if that could be a thing. Now what I wanted to do as well is to... And also, I'm not sure if I should be moving the rudder to the middle now that we are on the ground, not that we're airborne. But I don't see a... we're still flying coordinated here, right? The slip indicator is saying we're still good. Although, yeah, it might help if I turn it to the left a bit. Let's see. Yeah, if I let go of the yoke, it's actually moving to the right a bit. So maybe I should turn to it a bit more left rudder in here. Yeah, that's more like it. Now I'm moving to the left, so we go and put it a bit to the right. I should really map a hotkey for this one. So that it levels off on its own. Maybe leaving the heat on at takeoff. That might be, yes, that's a very good point, Chrome. Maybe that's why it's in the checklist. There we go. 41 months. Thanks, Jay. It feels like deja vu. Has this happened before? I think it has. So let's go and look for the nearest. I think that's one of the new things here. Nearest airports. Not really. There is one that's nearer, right? Mike Juliet. This one. So let's see. If I leave it there, where will it go? We're trying to balance it out. So it looks like in the center now. A little bit to the left, maybe just a tad. Maybe that will be enough. Keep it in the center. So right now the trim is somewhere like that. It is quite finicky. It's quite nice. And they're leveled off at 4,000 feet almost. Very nice. Very easy to trim plane. Yeah, I know, right? I remember 41 months. There we go. I was having such a hard time with the plane a while ago. It was because the rudder trim. The trim was way off. After takeoff, I think you have to set the rudder trim to the left. Otherwise, it will keep on doing that weird well, that right banking behavior or yowing behavior. Sightseeing, planes for days. Oh my goodness. Alright, I think I can go to drone mode here even without autopilot. It's like a big highway there. Wonder what highway that is. Let's have a look at the map. Looks like we're still banking a bit to the left. Yep. The airport should be on our left side. Let's have a look at little nav map where we are. Can it detect us? We have to load things again. Yeah, I think we do. Moved into western northern part. Yikes. Yes, this is the Millville PC6. Highly recommended. Very nice plane. Charlie Yankee Mike Juliet. Oh, apparently that's still pretty far away. If you look at the range indicator here, that's actually like 25 miles away. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so indeed, Regina is still closer. That makes sense. That's why. Okay, let's move to the nearest one here. And let's plot a point for this guy. Direct. Enter, enter. There we go. Let's go back to the flight plan. Nice. There we go. And if we go to nav mode, autopilot in nav mode, now we should be graced with the amazing autopilot for the G1000 NXI by working title. The tail wheel locker here, this one. So during takeoff, during landing, put it to locked. Once you're clear of the runway, put it to steerable, or before you clear it, so you can steer with the rudder. Oh, finally some clouds. Nice. So do we have a meter there where we're going? Let's see. Mike Juliet, this one. I don't think we do. I think I tried that a while ago. This guy. Moose Jaw. Yeah, no meter. Okay. Cannot find it in the Asobo one. Oh, should be here, definitely. Yeah, should be here. I saw in even in other PC6s, even like an X-Plane PC6. Was it X-Plane or P3D? Yeah, the tail wheel lock should be there. Ah. Can we quickly switch it when you land? Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I should map it. I should map the rudder trim and the tail wheel lock, I think, to those controls. Make it a lot better. Let's have a look if there's a procedure here. Wow, there are lots. There are lots of them actually. It's a bit it's nice that you can have all these fancy approaches, right? But it kind of feels counterintuitive in a way, because normally when you're flying the PC6, you'd want to fly it for the hand flying vibes, at least in the sim, right? So having a G1000 here is a bit counterintuitive, but I guess in a realistic setting you would like that to happen. You would like that to work. Let's get some fresh air a bit. Open both doors. This is for skydiving. I think that can work. Oh, dang it. Yeah, this is one important point, guys. When you're flying the PC6, you have to change the assistance settings, and this is a bit of a troublesome thing right now, because I'm not sure if you've heard the assistance options in SSIM Update 7, they are resetting whenever you update something in the marketplace. So for example, you updated your G1000 NXI, this goes too easy, so you have to set it again. And when I reset it to the proper controls, I forgot to turn off the aircraft stress damage, and I think even engine stress damage. These two have to be disabled, I think. But yeah, this is in the manual of the Milvis PC6 that you have to turn that off. Otherwise, when you open the door like that, yep, I opened the door and all hell broke loose. But you have to have those off. Otherwise, yes, you'd end up like me. So that's in the manual, so that's on me. That's not a bug, that is pilot error. Yes, exactly, Chrome. I think by next year, for sure not this year. I think that's what the Milvis guy said. But they'll add steam gauges as an upgrade. I'm not sure. I don't think you have to pay for it if you already have it. But I think the price of the plane itself will be more expensive if you only buy it after that phase 2 or whatever they call it. Row pilot, exactly. Open door mid-flight is always a bad idea. Not on the PC6, right? Not on the PC6 supposedly. This plane is used for skydivers, for skydiving. So this plane is known for having intense descent rates. We actually tried that. It has such an intense descent rate, it can do a beta descent. So it's descending and then the propeller's in beta, so that it can arrest the airspeed and descend like 4,000 feet per minute, or even 5,000, 6,000 feet per minute safely without overspeeding. And so much so that the plane can actually descend faster than the skydivers are. So it's beating the skydivers to the ground when it comes to descending. It's super cool. And this plane, we tested it when I streamed it. It actually works. So when you open the door and you have the stress things off, when you descend, when you do that beta descent, the door actually automatically closes because of the momentum, the inertia of the descent. It's pretty nice. So I don't think we have enough time to do all of that now, so let's just have a look at the liveries. Goodness, well, that was an interesting end. Pro pilot indeed. How do you switch to beta? Yes, that's a good question. So in Milvis's implementation, they have this in the manual, but you stay level, right? Stay level. So you have your throttle to, I don't know, 50 to 80% maybe, right? You pull back on the throttle to idle, or yeah, I think to idle. So you will start losing airspeed, right? But you have to keep the yoke, so you trim so that you are still level. Don't start descending yet. So you're lose airspeed. And when you hit around 80 to 90 knots, if I remember correctly, you will see the RPM gauge, because this plane has a prop governor. So what that means is it tries to keep the propeller RPM at a fixed rate. I think 2000 RPM is its target. When you reach that 80 to 90 knots, it will, from 2000, it will, I think, lower to 1800 RPM. And when you see that work, you're now on beta. And when you see that RPM lower to 1800, then you can descend, and it will, you can get like up to 4,000 plus descent feet per minute without overspeeding. You'll feel the difference. Yeah, I don't think Asobu has it implemented. I don't think so. Train Life, ETS on rails. I think we have someone in Discord who has tried that, Arianus. Was it Bao? Yeah, it's in the Train Sim channel. If you search for Train Life in there, I think there was someone who was saying good things about it. I think it was Bao. Yeah, but yes. So thanks for joining me on these flights, guys. Not as good as I hoped. The ending of that one, but these things happen, especially in this sim. So appreciate the company. Thank you for joining, and yes, catch you next week. We'll continue our Canada trip, CRJ 9. Maybe eventually we'll replace that with a 737. Well, that's probably still next year. We'll see. And then if we have more people, or at least let's have a look at VATSIM. Maybe there are online controllers. We can try VATSIM. We'll see. Have a good night. Have a good day. Thank you. Thanks for the tips, Chrome. That helped a lot. Shame about the assistant settings. Have a good day. Have a good night. Thanks, Clumsy Flying. And bye-bye. See you soon.